here's how I'd put it. Both me and Wardy have a little bit of streaming experience, a little bit of content creation here and there. But content kind of covers like a whole bunch of different sectors, from like streaming to long form YouTube to short form TikTok and all of that. And then there's just so much more. Like podcast is another sort of content area that is yet to be explored. But I feel like in this community, especially, a lot of people have content experience. So it's just one of those things that we end up talking about, and then we never stop talking about it. Like it goes so deep. There's just so much to discuss. So when we thought about coming up with a podcast, we had so many different like ideas to begin with, but the only one that was actually stuck was talking about content, because we just could not stop talking about content. But this one is going to be mainly about like streaming and what it feels like to start out streaming.
So this first things are basically about like if you stream not consistently and you want to be more consistent, or you don't stream and you want to get into streaming basically. But if you have any questions, or like even if you have any sort of input as well, because obviously I know a few of you stream just in general anyway, or used to stream like quite a lot.
It's going to be less about like how to, so we're not going to, it's not going to be a tutorial basically. It's literally just going to be talking about experiences.
Yeah, pretty much. Right. So the first question is, how should new streamers interact with their chat? What kind of boundaries should be in place?
So many.
A lot, yeah.
So many.
There should be a lot.
So I tell you what, actually, I have like really, what's the word? I have a big anxiety with it now. It's probably one of the things that actually made me stop streaming is the fact that when you interact with your chat, there are so many expectations, and there's almost like a power divide between the streamer and the chat. And the power divide splits between like whether or not you have a lot of viewers. If you start out, you don't have many viewers, then the expectation is that if someone comes into your chat and they say something, you have to respond to it there and then. I feel like there is that expectation where you just have to.
Yeah, especially when you're starting off first. Because I'm not gonna lie, when I first started, any interaction, no matter if it was good or bad, I always used to just be positive about it, to be completely honest. Like I remember, I know a few of you remember, maybe Owen, pretty much Owen, Levy and Wheeler remember, someone came into my stream when I first ever started streaming, when I used to play FIFA, and he was like impersonating being someone that I knew from school, and was talking like crazy things about my sister, basically. And I was just sort of, I didn't know how to react to it, because I was like, what the fuck? So I just sort of went along with it until like it got weird. But like he went on for ages, and then he had another account that his friend made that came in and was pretty much saying the exact same thing, and was like shit talking like Levy and Wheeler and shit like that. But I know it is hard, because when people come into your stream, you naturally just want to be nice to them, because you obviously want them to like stick around and watch you or not whatnot. But you have to also take into account that some people generally just want to come in to troll you or just shit talk you, or
oh yeah, definitely
just be arseholes pretty much.
Everyone says it, that when you start out streaming, you have to respond to everyone, and I really don't agree with that. I really
no, you don't have to agree with everyone. Agree with everyone? Respond to everyone. Or even agree with anyone.
I suppose it depends on what you're streaming as well. I feel like there's three main sectors of streaming. Like, I'll probably bring this up again as well, because I fully believe in this, but I feel like you can either be a community streamer, an entertainment streamer, or a skill-based streamer. Skill-based streamers would be like pros and stuff like that. So you can have two of those, but I don't believe you can be all three: community, entertainment, and skill.
No.
I think you can be like max two.
Yeah.
If you're a skill-based streamer, you'll get your views from your skill. So you don't necessarily have to be talking to chat. You just need to focus on your game and make sure that you're getting clips. Community and entertainment is a little bit of a different side of the coin, though. And depending on which one of those you decide to go down, I feel like you should pay more attention to your chat, and probably I'd say one of the things that you need to do is actually know who your community are.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You find, I think you find what you're good at the more you stream anyway.
Yeah, that's it. I don't think you can actually start out and be like, yeah, I'm gonna be this streamer, because I reckon
Yeah.
most of the people that, especially with Apex, most of the people who start out playing Apex are like, I'm pretty good at this game, so when I stream it, like I'm gonna be mostly skill based. I'm gonna be getting clips of me 1v3ing teams and shit like that, and then I'm gonna pop off in views because my clips are great. But that is rarely ever the case. No matter how great clips are.
With the skill as well, it's so hard because like you could be like one of the best players in the games and you just start streaming. Like, no one's gonna know that you're good. They can literally just like just by watching you for like 5 minutes, they'll know you're good, but they ain't gonna stick around if you're not talking to anyone. So you sort of have to at the start if you are good at the game. Like actually interact and do other things rather than just showing your skill. And then when you get a few people in, then you can start like using your skill in your advantage. But yeah, I'm definitely not a skill streamer, no, 100%.
Yeah, skill streamers are a little bit of like a different alley, I suppose. If you're a community streamer and you are getting people like the same people will keep coming to your chat, and you start getting to them a little bit, that's when you need to start putting the boundaries in, I reckon. That's when you need to start being like, I don't really want people messaging me, shit like that, because that's where the anxiety comes in for me, is when at a certain point people start feeling like they know you because you have a small community.
Yeah.
So it feels like a small circle. So a lot of people will take advantage of that.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's easier to get into smaller streamers communities than it is to, talk in a bigger streamers chat.
Yeah, definitely.
But some people like talking in small streamers chats, like just because they know that their message is gonna get read out or like interacted with, and then they can sort of make it off that. It's hard to go into a bigger streamers chat and talk about that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it just goes to show that even with the different types of streamers, there's also different types of viewers. You've also got the community-based viewers who are just looking for circles to be in and similar people that they can talk to. But then you also have the people who just take shit and go overboard with it and get super fucking parasocial.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, I mean, I think, like, especially starting off, you're all new to it as well. Like, you don't know how people are going to be with you, and also you don't know how they're going to, like, talk to you or react to you or whatever. So you just take everything off face value, and then you don't actually think about the bad side of them. You just think, oh, everyone's going to be nice to me because, like, I'm streaming, and, like, why would they come in and shit talk me? But people do not give a fuck. They'll shit talk you for no reason, just because they... you killed them on a game, or like they just don't like the look of you or whatever.
A lot of people who first get into streaming, I don't think they know anything about how bad the community can be.
No, yeah.
Viewership and gaming communities and things like that.
100%.
There are people out there that you would not have even realized could exist in this world, because just the mentality of it is so weird to think. It's almost like, how could you even act like that with a brain? How?
yeah.
So when you go into it, you're in for a little bit of a shock when you realize that you fucked up by actually allowing these people to message you.
Yeah.
And then it's a really sticky situation to try and get out of.
Pretty much. So many people think they have the right to add me and be besties on Discord because in my streams for a little while. As much as I love them, I don't really want that connection. Yeah, that is a massive point as well. Like, as harsh as this is going to sound, just because you're in someone's stream constantly doesn't mean you know them or that you're friends. Yeah. Like, there has to be some form of boundary between you just being in someone's chat for a bit and, like, actually knowing that person.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know?
That's not to say that you can't make good friends.
No, yeah, 100%, 100%. But people do it for the complete wrong reasons sometimes.
Yeah.
They just want to do it just because they see, like, you have X amount of viewers, or like you have people interacting in your chat. People are just, they want to get something out of you rather than actually being your friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, genuinely. It's actually astounding how many different types of people there are out there, and you don't realize it until you start streaming and realize that there are people out there who are going to try and take advantage and sort of manipulate you into, or guilting you into being their friend because that's what they want from you.
Yeah. People just think like money, like if they gift you or whatever.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah. that's the power difference that I was talking about. When you have like low views, there's that power difference of, well, these people could make or break your stream at this point. They could be the ones putting the money in your bank account. They could be the ones who are boosting your viewership and getting you the connections. So it's like, okay, well, how do I turn this person down?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a difficult one because you don't want to come across as like a dick, because at the end of the day, they have given you some form of income. But for me personally, it doesn't work that way. Like, you can't just buy someone's friendship. Like, it just isn't going to work that way. Like, you can't just go into someone's stream and just gift them like a certain amount of subs or like donate to them or whatever, and they're just instantly going to be your friend and fucking want to talk to you and like be best mates. That's just not how it works. It's just isn't the way to go, because it's just not genuine, is it? Because then when you stop doing it, then what? You don't even really have a friendship, do you? You just have like
A pay pig.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, a pay pig, pretty much. But yeah, I think that's probably the first set of boundaries. It's like what Katie was saying about Discord and shit like that. That is another thing. It links into that as well. Like getting your Discord so people can't just message you randomly, because you'll get loads of GFX artists, loads of people just randomly messaging you saying like they love your stream. When they don't, they're just chatting shit to you to try and get you to be friends with them, or like to get something out of it, like selling them graphics or whatever it is.
Yeah. That would be the number one boundary for me to put in place.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I was giving anyone advice for that, it would just be like, do not let people message you unless you have said that they can.
Yeah.
And if they ask you on stream, then don't feel pressured to be like, yeah, of course, DM me just because it's on stream.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you just have to like be like, I'll check it off stream or whatever you want to say. And then if they keep going over to it, I don't want to come across like a dick, but also sometimes I'm just not in a real headspace to take on other friendships and hear other issues. I think it's one of the biggest things I guilt trip myself over as a streamer. Yes and no. I feel like no, because I don't know. Sometimes people come in and like trauma dump, which is not a bad thing because they just want to confide in you, but it does also put pressure on you, because if you don't know the person, it's hard to like comfort them when you're in front of people, like when you're on stream, like especially as they're directly talking to you. Like they're not going, oh, hey everyone, like this has happened to me. They're like, hey Katie, like, you know, this happened to me and it's really bad. And then they'll like go away and then they'll come back again and then they'll just say it again. Or do you know what I mean?
Like if you don't know them and they've come into your chat to try and make friends with you through trauma dumping, then I find that really weird, because that's almost, in a sense, you're forcing someone into a corner by saying, I'm so sad right now, please come
Yeah. Yeah,
that's basically what's happening, and you don't know that person. You don't really owe them anything at all, and really, people should not be going to strangers to talk about their issues.
No.
Because they're not going to get any
no.
help from strangers at all.
But
There's nothing a stranger can do to help them.
But like streaming and someone talking to you online is... like streaming and like IRL, you got to take it as in IRL. Like if you first met someone IRL and they trauma dump to you, you'd be like, what the hell? Like you'd be like, what the fuck? Like you want to take a step back from, you want to, like, you probably wouldn't want to instantly be their friend just because they did that. So it's completely the same as online. Like it shouldn't be that way. If someone's just randomly telling you stuff about things that to try and get a friendship out of you, you shouldn't feel bad because you're like, you feel uncomfortable in the situation or anything like that, because obviously even in real life it takes time to get to know your friends. Like you don't just instantly like be best friends with someone or whatever, especially online as well, because online is you just see a name and you see a message. You don't see their face, you can't see their intentions, you can't see their body language. Like it's so hard to judge, especially just off a name. Same as the way when you text your friends, like, you know, saying something to them. Sometimes there's a way of, when you word stuff, it comes across completely different because it's on text rather than talking.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's where you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. Unless you purposefully build your stream to be this place for people to actually come in and talk about their issues, then it's not the right place for people to come in and talk about their issues. That's the thing. So if that is your stream, if that's what you want your stream to be, then fair enough, that is the right place for people to go. But for other streams, like gaming streams, just chatting streams, where the streamer just wants to, get on with their day and build a community, it's just gonna be really awkward to have to deal with someone who is bringing something to your stream that you don't know how to deal with, or you're not equipped to deal with.
Yeah. Because some people don't really want to know the way around it or to talk about it, like someone passing away, or you've got a terminal illness or something like that's really like devastating.
If I was in a situation where something really heavy was happening in my life, I wouldn't just go to a streamer to talk about it. I would go to a friend. That's where the line needs to be drawn. And if you're a streamer and someone is coming to you that's not your friend to tell you about these things, then there's a bit of a broken balance there. Something is not right in the balance between the two of you. They might think that you are friends, whereas you might think that this is just your stream and they're watching you, sort of thing. And that's where boundaries need to put in place before it gets any worse.
Yeah, 100%. What if your friend is a streamer? It depends how much you know them, though, Owen. Like, I know, for instance, if someone came into my stream that I know quite a lot and they were like, I'm having a bad day, then I would just be like, I'll talk to them and then I'd DM them on Discord after. Because obviously you have that friendship anyway. It's not just like someone who comes in just to say that they're having a bad time, which obviously there's nothing, you know what I mean? You can't help if you're having a bad week, a bad month, a bad year, whatever. People go through shit. It's more the people that sort of do it and then disappear. They'll just say like 3 messages and then they'll just disappear again. And then it's sort of like, it's hard to say something back to them because they're not actually listening anyway. They're just going to go off and come back the next day and say the exact same thing or say something completely different. The streamer's job is to entertain or provide content, not therapy. But if my friend comes in and says, I feel like shit. Yeah, it's the exact same. Yeah, if your friend coming in and saying they feel crap, then that's completely different. But if it's someone you don't really know that well, or you're unsure about, or haven't really interacted with outside of streaming, it can be difficult when it's consistent anyway.
I think it's dodgy, personally. I think it's really dodgy when people do that. If you don't know them and they're coming into your stream to talk about really heavy shit, that to me is super dodgy.
Yeah.
That is so many red flags.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not the right person to talk to.
No, yeah, because it's other people that are like, because you don't know that person. Like, you don't know them. And you also don't know what they're going through as well. Yeah. Like, just because people on stream doesn't mean they're not going through something outside of streaming. And at the end of the day, sometimes they'll get on and think, oh, okay, like, I'm not having the best day, but I'll just stream anyway. And then if someone comes in and then dumps more stuff onto them, it can make them feel worse. But I do understand your point, Katie, in the sense of, like, it is hard to tell these people, like, I don't want to talk about this sort of thing. Like, try and steer the conversation away because you don't want to upset them. Because obviously they're coming in just for you. Like, they don't really care about what anyone else is saying in chat. Like, someone might say, I'm really sorry, like, I hope you feel better. And then they'll be like, thanks, or whatever. Some people need an outlet without fear of being judged, and the anonymous nature of it might help release their feelings.
I think that's selfish.
Yeah, I don't know. Me personally, I know I would never trauma dump to someone I didn't know on the internet. Not in a million years would I do that. But that's just me, innit? Like, obviously, people are completely different. And like Sean said, some people don't have some people might not have friends, so they confide in people online.
It's essentially just like finding absolutely anyone to like a day.
Yeah.
You're basically using someone at that point.
Yeah.
If you're just looking for an anonymous outlet.
Like, some streamers are happy to talk about that stuff. Like, they're happy to talk about, like, comforting you. But as a streamer, sometimes it is hard to comfort someone when you don't know their situation. Like, if someone's like, oh, I don't know, like, my parents divorced, I'm moving out, like, I've got no one to live with. Like, it's hard to sort of comfort that when there's that much. A problem shared is a problem halved. True. That is also true. It's a difficult one. It's like a grey area, I think, because you don't want to be horrible to someone and you want to help them. But on the other side of it, it is hard when you're streaming and someone's sort of doing that,
The thing is, as a streamer, you are putting yourself out there pretty much every day. And if people are sharing their issues with you constantly, then that's just a lot to put on someone. So if you, let's say it's one person who is consistently having issues and keeps coming to you for it, and you don't really know this person that well. If you allow them to do it the first few times, then they will continue to do it because they think it's an okay space for them to do it. They won't stop after that. I'm not generalizing everyone, but there are definitely a few people who will do it constantly. The moment that they realize that this is a space for them to dump everything that they're feeling onto the streamer, they will do it constantly. And if you're not the type of person who wants to deal with that, then it just needs to be shut down. You just need to put the boundary in and be like, yeah, like saying sorry to hear that, or you probably need to speak to someone that's not me about that. Then
or saying, have you got anyone to speak to?
Yeah, exactly.
That knows you a bit better. Yes.
But the moment that you allow them to come to you more often, that's when it starts getting you in trouble.
That's definitely the boundary of being a streamer, though. You can't sort of let. It's not someone walk all over you, because they're not doing that. They're just trying to gain some help. But like, there also needs to be some sort of thing where you're like, okay, no, I'm not comfortable talking about this without offending them. So it is difficult, especially as you're on a camera as well. Like being on camera.
It's another part of the power balance.
Yeah, it is 100%.
And you can't see them.
100%. So they can see your genuine reaction to when you read their message, and then when the cogs are going in your head thinking about what they're saying. And do you know what I mean? It's not, but it isn't the case of just sorry to hear that and move on, because it's not. It's more complex than that, especially when they're saying a lot of things. It's almost like hijacking a Twitch chat. Yeah, sort of.
It is hijacking a Twitch chat and then feeling entitled to more of that streamer's time. That's what happens.
Yeah, you're like craving
it starts
attention.
Off small, and it gets bigger and bigger because that person feels like they are getting closer to you. That's the issue with people talking about their deepest feelings. Obviously, if someone is gonna open up to you, they're going to feel like they're getting closer to you, and you can't let that happen because it gets parasocial. Unless you actually genuinely appreciate this person and like that person and want to be friends with that person, then yeah, absolutely. But otherwise, you just need to try and stop that before it gets bigger.
It's just one of them ones where it is hard to tell them about it.
We've already felt about this podcast, by the way. It's been, can you believe it's been half an hour? Still on the first one.
On the first question. We've got 9 questions to go. Okay, let's go on to the next one then.
We knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, well, I told you. We're wafflers. I'm definitely a waffler.
All right, wait, I want to ask you this one, actually, because I want to hear what you have to say. How would you go about getting your first viewers if you had to do it again?
Well, when I first started off, mine was research. So I used to just do, I used to go on YouTube and watch this guy called Stream Scheme. His YouTube name was, and he used to just give like tips on how to first start your stream, how to grow your number from 0 to like 5, and then how to grow it from 5 to 15, etc., etc. And not actually taking his, like word for gospel, but taking like some form of idea of what he said, and using it in your advantage. Because I'm not gonna lie, for the first like 6 months of streaming, I was on like 3 viewers, pretty much. 3 or 4, and that was probably Levy, Owen, Wheeler, and Lex. And then probably I would tab myself up to try and make myself get viewers, basically. And I used to always check my viewer list as well and be like, oh, okay, who's like on this, like, oh, is there someone else new in? And then you see first time chat and you get really excited because you're like, oh my god, how did they find my stream? And but yeah, I honestly think the rule, I'd say for the first viewers, you just have to be genuine. Like, you don't want to come across that you're like, oh my god, hey, happy, how are you? Like, go crazy, like, oh my god, they're in my stream. Because like, I don't think people want that. They don't want you to go in their stream and be like, oh my god, like, thank you so much for being in my stream. Like, of course they want you to be grateful they've come into your stream, but you don't need to be like crazy energetic about them coming in. Do you know what I mean? You just need to be like, thank you so much, like, how are you doing? How's your day? Sort of like ask them about themselves. But
I'll tell you what, though.
You're gone.
I think if you're starting out from zero, I reckon one of the most important things is actually having a community already,
Yeah,
because not having one is going to keep you at zero for ages. Like, you
100%.
already had a few close friends that you could chat to,
Yeah,
but like gaining that first community, it comes from being a part of a community. So,
yeah,
for example, you have a community now. If I had never been in your stream before and I recently just joined, then it would take me about 4 or 5 months to get to know people. So essentially what you need to do is be a viewer first, or at least this is how I do it anyway, is just be a viewer first for the first few months.
yeah,
Stream maybe once or twice a week. Just get to know people who are playing the same game that I'm playing,
Yeah.
and doing the same thing that I'm doing. You know, get the clips and then post them to Twitter, and make sure that you're actually engaging with people who are in the same community.
100%.
It's worth actually just having people who do the same thing that you do sort of with you,
Yeah,
because it's not that sort of follow for follow shit. It's just this, you vibe with people that you have stuff in common with. And in communities like this, you will just have things in common with people naturally because you're doing the same thing. And that's how you kind of make these like these viewers and these streamer friends, and you begin networking, and that they become your very first viewers. They become people who come into your chat and say hi, and that's kind of what you need to rely on.
Yes, Jazz says, setting a schedule, you're more likely to retain the viewers if they rely on you turn up constantly. Yes. Sometimes that's hard, though, because people like have full-time jobs and they can't like commit to a schedule. But yeah, setting a schedule is 100% the first thing you should probably do. Think, right, okay, I work this time. I'm just going to stream. Obviously, I know some jobs like change, don't they? Like 1 minute you're doing like morning, the next you might be doing evening or whatever. But you just sort of like plan it around that and then have a schedule, because then people know when you're live, they know when you're going to be online, they know when to like watch your stream, and then from there that's when you sort of get regular people coming in.
I think that's like one of the basic things that a lot of people overlook as well. It's something that I overlook too, because I'm kind of like, well, why would I make a schedule when I could just stream whenever the fuck I want? You know,
Yeah,
they're gonna see me in the followers list anyway.
People won't know you're live.
Like with your schedule, I know you're going to be live every day while I'm working, so I've basically got you up as my work stream.
Yeah,
that's the thing. As soon as you get into a pattern and people get into habits, people are creatures of habit, so they will stick to the schedule that you've put down, basically.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. That factory Discord, yeah, that's a good point actually. We was in a Discord. That's where I met Nick as well. That's actually when I first actually met quite a few people when I started streaming. There was a Discord called The Factory. There was like a small streamer like Discord, and they would get people in, and like you could like interact. It was like, I'm not gonna lie, Nick will back me up here. It was very there was a lot of follow for follow in there, but only from certain people, and there was a lot of like people in there for the wrong reasons. But then you can sort of like, you know, build friendships. Obviously, not everyone you're going to be in there is going to be your friend. Like, it's just not going to happen that way. Like, that's just the way streaming is. Yeah, you got to be genuine with stuff and not just, you know what I mean? Like, Nick was the one that actually got me into the Discord. Nick randomly raided me once, just out of the blue. I didn't know who he was. It's because I think something to do with my stream title was like, Olympus is the best map or something. And he was like, oh, I agree. He raided me. And then we started talking, like, off stream. And then he was like, oh, I'm part of this Discord, like, if you want to join. And then I joined that. And then that was The Factory. And then I'm pretty sure Levy joined it. And then a few other people that I knew or like knew of sort of joined it as well. So it was all in there a few times. And then, yeah, we just met people in there that played the game. Even people that didn't play the game really, or like Apex or whatever game we were playing. Yeah. People that genuinely were just in there to meet other people, not just spam their self-promo links or whatever in Discords and then leave. That's also another thing. That will never work. I promise you. Oh, God, spamming your links in Discord for self-promo is never, ever, 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 ever going to work. Never.
These are surely I still can't believe that a lot of people don't know that. I feel like that's
Yeah.
one of the most basic things
It's
that you realize.
never gonna
it's
work.
Kind of like basic psychology, isn't it? The thing is, this is going to be a little bit of a controversial take. The difference between 2 viewers and 15 viewers, to me, is nothing. If you have 2 viewers, it's the same as having 10 viewers, 15 viewers.
Yeah.
You're probably going to have the same amount of chatters, depending on whether or not your circle is one that you actually have things in common with. Your community is something that you actually put time into understanding and sharing, like
Interests and stuff. Yeah.
common interest with. But the viewership at that point just doesn't matter whether you have 2 or 15.
No.
It's going to get you nowhere. The browse section on Twitch, no one is looking at it.
No.
Believe me, no one is.
No.
Absolutely nobody is looking at the browse section on Twitch. They're going to find you in recommended, and the way that you get in recommended on Twitch is by being in similar communities to the people that they watch already. It's all about who you know, who
Yeah.
you talk in, and whether people who talk in someone's chat will also talk in your chat, and that's all from being in the same communities.
Yeah, because they get to know you. It's like some people get to know you through other people. Like I can't name the amount of people that I've met in other people's streams that now I go into their streams and they come into my streams. Like just by talking in someone else's stream that we know of, like a mutual friend or whatever. Like there's so many. There's like
If
most people that I know.
About like a new streamer,
Yeah.
it would probably be like no one actually gives a fuck about your stream.
I mean, yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to make people come to your stream. It's not like it's
no
the
one
same
gives a
way
fuck
as like
about
that's
that.
why self promo on Twitch is like a massive red flag and like a massive no. Like when people go into people's streams and then go, "Hey, I'm streaming," or "Hey, I'm a streamer," or "Hey, I'm live right now." That is
Absolutely.
never gonna work. Like never, ever is that ever gonna work? Because someone
The
just
only
sees
way
a
that
name.
people-
Go on.
That's exactly it. Like the only way that people are ever gonna give a fuck about you is if they actually just know what you're like a little bit, and if they
Yeah.
can get a taster of what you're like, then you can get them interested in your stream.
Yeah, exactly. Like just the way you talk, and that's what ties back into being genuine. Like if you're not genuine and you're talking in someone's stream and you're just doing it because you want to get to know them, or like you're doing it just because you want people to come to your stream, that's not going to work because you're having one personality in their stream, and then if they do come to your stream, you've got a completely different personality that they're not going to know because they know you from talking about this thing and this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
In other people's thingies. Or the classic, "I just started streaming, do you have any tips?" I don't think that's a bad one though, Stephen. That's not as bad as saying like, "I'm streaming right now, please come and check me out." Personally, some people genuinely just want tips off people because they're like, "Oh, like I know this person has got X amount of viewers, maybe they might have a few tips for me," you know? That's sort of self-promo, but not self-promo in the same sense because they're just asking. Like, there isn't a lot of ways to know about streaming. Like that's why when I said about research, I used to watch that guy Stream Scheme on YouTube where he was like talking about how to grow your stream and like doing emotes and doing overlays and that sort of stuff. So I don't think that's as bad. Like people are just generally curious about how you do certain things or that sort of thing, you know? I can't lie, even if I don't achieve the goals I've set out in terms of content creation, I'm happy with the chance to meet as many people as I have. Yeah, 100%. That's what I was saying to Crimp as well, and I'm sure Crimp agrees. I know that if I stopped streaming tomorrow and just said I'm never streaming again, I know I would still talk to pretty much the majority of people that I talk to now on stream.
Thing is, if you stop streaming, if this was your very last stream, and you came back in 6 months' time, I guarantee you that most of the people here would still be here.
Yeah, that because you see that all the time. I see that all the time on Twitter. People coming back and being like, "Oh, I was gone, but I'm now back," and they still come back and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe the love I got." But like, you're gonna get that because people are genuinely your friend, and when you stream again or they watch you, they're like, "Oh, okay, they're live again. Like, I want to watch them." I'm like, "Oh my god, they're back! Like, I can't believe they've been gone for 6 months." And then you got that initial like, "Oh, how you been? Like, what's been going on? Are you gonna be still streaming a lot or that sort of thing?"
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's kind of what you have to aim for, I reckon. You ready for the next one?
Yeah, go on then.
Would you stick to gaming streams with what you know now, or branch out with variety?
Would you stick to gaming streams and branch out variety? If you're starting off, I would say just do what, because this is about starting off, I would say stream a game or do what you want to do. Don't just stream something because you think it's gonna grow you, or you think that like
It's gonna blow up.
yeah, it's gonna blow up, or you see it has a lot of viewers, because games with a lot of viewers, you're just gonna get hit all the way down the bottom. One viewer, no one's, I promise you, no one is scrolling all the way to the bottom to find your stream. Like, it doesn't matter what your stream title is, it doesn't matter how good you are at the game, it's just not gonna happen. It just isn't gonna happen. But yeah, starting off, I'd say literally just stream the game that you want to stream. I did. I mean, to be fair, yeah, you get some people that will do that. Like, they will just randomly raid someone, or they will just like click on a stream and they're like, oh, I like being here because it's a small streamer or whatever. For me personally, like, if I was to raid someone, I wouldn't raid someone with no camera, because you just can't tell the way they are, like the way they act, or
That's an interesting one.
that, for me personally anyway.
I think that one's really dependent on if you're streaming no cam, then you kind of have to substitute it with something else.
Yeah, 100%.
So
You want to see the interaction between when you raid them, or like when you go in their stream when they're first just chat. It's hard to like get your personality across just with no camera. Like,
really
just be entertaining. Yeah, there are some people that have a knack of doing it and they are good at it. But I mean, like, when you're first starting off, I feel like it's quite hard. It's still doable. It's just harder, I think, to actually make it bigger, because you don't know, you don't have a camera, so you can't express like your. Like, some people like laughing at people, like their reactions, or their facial expressions, or the way they do stuff. Like, you initially don't have all of that just because you don't have a camera.
when you're initially building your community, then it is definitely harder without a camera. But if you don't give a fuck about community and you're purely just making content, the cam shouldn't really matter.
No,
Unless you are someone who does like pure reaction content, or if the cam is super important to your content. But in the very beginning, I would say it's definitely easier to build that community.
Yeah, it is. It is 100% better to build it with a camera. But again, coming with a camera you can have issues, because some people will try to abuse you. Some people will be like, when you're on a camera, it is hard for some people because they don't like being in front of a camera and not comfortable being on camera. So it is difficult. Has there ever been a raid you regretted after raiding? Yeah, loads of times.
There is such a different attitude about stuff like that from so many different streamers. I find it really fascinating, actually. Like, some streamers don't give a fuck about raids.
Yeah, some people couldn't care less. Yeah,
like, over the top appreciative about it.
Yeah,
and there's kind of like that balance in the middle where you need to be like, you kind of do need to be a little bit appreciative. At the same time, like, you don't really owe the streamer that's raided you anything.
Yeah,
it's like an afterthought sort of thing. Like,
yeah.
After they've ended your stream, sure, it's a nice thing. Like, thank you, move on. And I think a lot of streamers that do raid kind of want something. They want more appreciation from the streamers that they're raiding, and I think it puts a lot of pressure on people as well to
overreact to a certain to a raid. But on the other, like, the flip of that is that someone has chosen you out of the thousands of channels to raid, like, to share their community with, or like even just raid to come and watch you, because they're going to come and watch you as well. So it's a tough one, because like, I'm not saying personally I want someone to do a backflip and be like, oh my fucking god, thank you so much for the raid. But it has to be like they're actually genuinely happy that you raided them, not just, especially someone new as well. Someone new. Like, you don't want them to just be like, when they just unmute and then they go, hey, thanks for the raid, and then mute again. Like, to me, that's not. I don't know. I don't really. I don't really agree with that stuff.
Theory about raiding, honestly, I think that there's this really high value that's been placed on raiding that I don't think that raiding is worth that much anymore. I think what a lot of people do by the end of a stream, when someone's about to raid, is they'll just end the stream. Barely anyone actually goes in for the raid. The people who do go in for the raid will usually stay for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe drop a few follows, but that will just be like vanity numbers because they won't come back. Maybe a few people will stay, but even if there was 1,000 raiders coming in from, let's say TSM, let's say Imperial House stream raided with 10,000 viewers, because that's such a huge number, the percentage of people that will actually stay is still pretty high compared to what a lot of viewers actually have.
Yeah. Yeah.
The amount of them who will genuinely stay long term is rarely ever going to be
raiding. Yeah, you are right though. Raiding is meant to be used as a tool as like getting your viewers to watch someone that you want them to watch. But it is hard because I know personally from experience, when someone raids someone and you're in their stream and you don't know the person, it is quite hard to sort of, it's just like first impression. Like you go in there and you go, okay, first impression of this person, like you either like them or you don't. My throat, what the fuck? Yeah, it's hard to like gain if you like someone just off someone raiding their friend or whoever they're raiding. Like it is difficult to get the raiders to be like, oh, okay, like I like it in here. They seem alright. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. But I also think that you should never just end your stream. You should always raid someone. I know some people don't like they get not upset, but they get weirded out by like, oh, I don't want to raid someone because I've only got 3 viewers or whatever amount of viewers or whatnot. Because I've done that. Like, you don't want to raid someone who's got like 25 viewers and you're raiding them for free because you're like, oh, okay, that feels a bit awkward. So that's why I always say raid people around your like viewership, basically. So then when you raid them, you're doubling their viewership, or like you're like half of their viewership, if that makes sense.
It's a nice gesture that I think is sometimes blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
That's the way I'd put it.
Yeah.
I think there's so much pressure that's put on to raiding, and I think a lot of streamers think that all they need to do is get raided by a big streamer and then they're going to make it. But the reality of that is...
Yeah, that isn't the case as well. Yeah.
You'll probably get a fuckload of new followers, but that's a vanity metric. That number does not matter. The amount of followers that you have could not be more of a vanity metric.
Yeah.
It means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that is a big thing. Followers on Twitch means nothing. Literally zilch.
I'm going to go so far as to say that growth on Twitch just doesn't happen. Like, you cannot grow on Twitch.
No, solely on Twitch you can't. No, 100% you cannot. It's impossible.
Unless you bring something completely unique to the channel. Like, if you're a skill-based player, a skill-based streamer, then you bring a pro POV that a lot of people will be interested in seeing, but otherwise it's pointless. Yeah.
Did you, I usually raid people that I'm going to be watching after I end. Yeah, exactly. Raid someone you actually generally want to watch, not you're just raiding them for the sake of it. Would you take recommendations from chat on who to raid if you're a new streamer? Yes, 100%. 100%. Because you got to think, if you have, if you're a streamer and there's a few people in your stream and they're like, oh, I know this person, they're really nice, you should instantly want to raid them, because it depends, because some people want to just them to raid their friend just so their friend has like, you know, more viewers, or to get them so that then you become their viewer, if that makes sense. So it's all like stealing you or whatever. Maybe not stealing you, but whatnot. But if someone has a raid that's, you know, one of their friends or like someone they recommend, and then you raid them and then you're like, oh, okay, they're actually all right, then you go from there. But if you raid them and you're like, oh, okay, no, I didn't really want to raid them, or like I wasn't sure about them, then you don't have to. Like, it's your own choice. You know what I mean? You can't just take what someone said to you as, you know, oh, okay, I'm going to 100% do that now, and now we're going to become friends. It just doesn't work that way. It
has its own weird fucking culture, and when you've been in it for long enough, then you kind of grow to learn and get involved in that culture. But I also don't think it's a good thing to be too into the culture, because a lot of it just doesn't have any effect on your viewership or your community at all. That whole culture of like raiding after you end your stream, or how do I explain this? There is a Twitch culture, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I know what you're getting. I get I know what you're getting at.
A lot of it just doesn't have much effect on
Yeah.
your community.
Yeah. A lot of things that streamers do, or they think they do, doesn't actually have that much effect on their like growth or just other people or whatnot.
A lot of things people just do because they've seen other people do it.
Yeah. The amount of times I've raided someone and they couldn't give a flying fuck that I did. Yeah, I mean that's just some people, don't it? Some people are just low energy and they can't like, you know, get themselves up to like be very excited. But like some people even have like videos they do when you raid them. Like for instance, Zerafina, she has a video, and when you raid her, she has a video that's like says like, "Hey raiders, this is what I'm like about," basically, and then like a short like minute video of like funny clips or cool things she's done, and then like you sit there and watch it and go, "Oh, okay." And it's a good video, I can't lie. But obviously, some people don't like that. Some people are like, okay, I'm not really sure of that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't really know how that would work, or
it's not fair.
Doesn't really come across that way.
As well, is that your community is probably not going to mesh with another person's community. That's the long and short of it, really. Yeah.
It's you know, you have to have the streamers both have to match personalities. Like you're not gonna get someone who has a completely different personality because they're probably not gonna watch you. Probably not. Raid welcome videos is a thing that's very common in variety gaming communities. Yeah, because with variety, you can play off that mind where you can just go, okay, I stream Elden Ring, I stream like I don't know, Spider-Man, or I stream like fucking Apex, I stream loads of single player games like Red Dead Redemption or whatever. Like you actually get like a taste of everything that someone's doing, like their reactions or loads of different things. Raiding is self-promo, in my opinion. No, it's not. Is this podcast any good asking for a friend? I mean, I hope so.
Just been waffling for the past hour,
we have been waffling, yeah. Imagine you 1v3 and no one can see it because your raid video pops up. Yeah,
it's a struggle, I guess.
That is.
But then that again comes to a point where you kind of need to know what you're streaming for if you're streaming, because you want to get cool tips. You don't really want to have those sorts of videos or alerts coming up on your stream. No.
And
if you're streaming because you want to entertain people, then yeah, absolutely.
I think as well, them videos are not like, oh, here's me 1v3 and here's me like getting an amazing kill. They're more like their personality, like this is what I'm about, this is the cosplays I've done. Like I'm just gonna use Zerafina as an example because I know she's one person that does have a video like raid. She has like all her cosplays on there. She has like when she did subathons, she has like some of her funny gaming clips. She has like I think she has like some of her emotes, like her overlay. Like it's a lot of stuff about her stream in that video, not just, oh, I've crabered someone from halfway across the map, or like, oh, I got a sick 1v3 or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's why people do them videos, and that's why they can be successful with them, because it's about their personality, not about their gaming thing.
There's a lot of psychology that goes on there where you kind of need to think to yourself, what the fuck am I doing with streaming? It's where you need to be like, I'm good at this game, but do I actually want to keep streaming to show people that I'm good at this game? Maybe I do, but is that actually what my viewers want to see? If they don't, then you're a bit stuck, because if your viewers want to see more of you and more of your personality, then you need to sacrifice what you want for your stream, which is more 1v3s, and focus more on actually entertainment. And then that's only if you're looking for growth. If you're just looking to fuck about and do whatever the fuck you want with streaming, then absolutely.
Yeah, you need to have a goal of what you want your stream to be about. And
that's it.
It is hard because when you first start off, or like even just in general, it can take a while for you to figure out, okay, I want to be this. I want to like, I want to, focus on this content, or I want to be a Call of Duty player, or I want to go pro in Call of Duty, or I want to, just play the game because I like it, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You need to figure out what that is. I think as well as understanding who you are as a person and stream will help you out loads, because You know, you want to hang out with. Yeah, exactly, Deagle. 100%, 100%. Also, the last part of that question, I didn't actually read. What was it? Or branch out to variety. I think you go out to variety when you've built a community. Like, you don't want to be variety when you first start, because that's hard, because people can't, like, they're never gonna know. They're never gonna know what game you're on. Like,
you get a community from playing one game, but at a certain point, you need to actually say goodbye to that game. You cannot be a one trick forever.
Yeah, 100%. What was the next question? Do you think people need a unique selling point, good at a game, funny personality?
This one, I suppose we've kind of covered a little bit of it, of like the self-reflection and knowing what you're good at, basically, or where people actually enjoy watching you and your personality. But so for me, when I first started streaming, I thought that because I am British and I'm a girl, then I will instantly get views. That was my initial thinking.
Yeah. I mean,
I went into it with a bit of a shock.
Yeah, it's not, but that's not a bad way to think, though, because that's just how you think when you're, like, new to streaming. Like, you just think, oh, I have this and have, like, that. Do you know what I mean? You think what you have is going to be enough, and then you realize when you stream, you're like, okay, it isn't actually enough.
And then you realize that there's about 1,000 other people doing the exact same thing that you are.
Literally.
And you're actually not unique in the slightest, and you don't have a unique selling point. And it takes some time while you're streaming to learn what your unique selling point is. And it's not going to be something it's probably not going to be the thing that you thought it would be from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's probably to be something else.
There's so many streamers that start off on a game and then go to a completely other game and then they just blow up. Like, they'll just, something will happen to them and they'll just gain, like, they'll triple their viewership or whatever. But it also goes down to personality. Having a personality over anything else. You can be good at a game, but eventually that game will die. Yes, 100%, Jay. 100%. Like, you can't rely your whole content on a game. Like, it just isn't, it's not sustainable. Like, it ain't gonna work. It isn't gonna work.
Games have lifetimes, and I think a lot of people overlook that. I think a lot of people think that because a game has boomed, that's made their career. And a lot of the time it has, but at a certain point you need to move away from that game. You can't be on that game forever.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you literally can't.
Every game has a lifetime.
Yeah.
And if your streaming lifetime is dependent on that game's lifetime, then you're in for a rude awakening when that game
when it dies, you're just another streamer or whatever. Which is why sometimes I feel like I don't understand why, like, pro players don't make more of what they've got. If you're very good at a game and you compete competitively in a game, but you don't try and grow your brand outside of that, why? Like, literally, why? You're going to have people come into your stream regardless because they know you play for this team or they support that team or...
Well, see, this is the thing about Apex content specifically as well, is that a lot of people will look up to pros as, like, the content gods. They will look up to... If I started streaming now and I saw the top of Apex Twitch, which is mostly pros, I would think that that's what the Apex audience is looking for, like, good gameplay and, you know, quiet streams where they're focusing on the game. That's not at all what people are looking for, though. The truth is that a lot of those pro players don't know the basics of making content because they never had to.
Yeah, and they don't need to, yeah. To be fair, that's a good point.
They just didn't have to learn what makes good content. So when you get to that point of being a pro player where you boom, you can start hiring other people to do that for you, and those other people will know how to make it.
Yeah, and they'll make it for you. Yeah, use their brain.
Exactly.
This is actually a good point, to be fair. Their job is to play the game, not be a content creator. That's optional. But on the flip side of that is, if you was to get dropped tomorrow, you're just another person that played comp in a game. Like, no one will care about you. Like, you'll just be another... Obviously, like, people get signed to different orgs and they might go on to another game, or... Because obviously, if you're good at an FPS game, you're probably going to be more likely good at another FPS game as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people don't want it. Yeah, you're right, Levy. Some people generally don't give a fuck. Like, they're just like, whatever. I just stream just so I can have VODs and watch my VODs back, basically.
Yeah. They don't want to be content creators.
Surely they'd just do content if they wanted to. Yeah. But I do think it's hard to do, like, the balance of content and be competitive. Like, it's so hard to get the balance between both of them.
Yeah, you definitely need to hire someone.
Yeah,
the good thing about 100%. Competitive, though, is that if you're a pro player, you naturally have a storyline that's being followed. This is the thing. You don't have to make one. when you're making content. The storyline is that you're playing professionally and you're
Yeah.
following the story of your team. And that's what the viewers are looking for. But the moment that the storyline ends and there's nothing more to watch for the viewer,
Yeah, they're
and
just
they have
gonna
nothing
click
more to
off.
support, yeah. So unless they've become very attached to the person that they're watching and their personality,
Yeah.
they're gonna have a really, really hard time growing up.
No, yeah, 100%. That's just the case of if they get dropped from their org, if they don't want to compete anymore, or if the game dies. Like, if any of them happen, it's just like, what's next for them? Like, how do they, like I said, some people they don't care. They're just like, okay, whatever. Like, I'll just go to another game, or like, I don't really care about making content anyway. I was just happy with what I was getting from my org and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. That's one of my biggest gripe with Apex Pros. 90% of them don't create content; they just go live. There's a huge difference between the two. Yeah, exactly. I think a very good example of someone who is good at content and very good at the game is Mandy. Like, he is so good at the game, but like, he's so like chat orientated as well. As in, like, he doesn't really care too much about the game. He's just very good at it. Like, he's very good to watch, but he's not really. He doesn't take it dead serious. Like, I was watching him this morning, he was literally just playing Pathfinder in like just solo queuing, just using a fucking 4 to 8 times Sentinel and just running around, just grappling on people and shit. Like, he's very good at the game still, but like, he's still like the other side of it where he's actually entertaining to watch, which is why when he goes live, he has instantly like 2K people there because people are there to watch him. And the way he is, like, even just shaving of his hair, like, his hair's an absolute mess. But like, that's just who he is. Like, that's just who he is. Do you know what I mean?
Tell you what, the thing about being a pro player and getting to a status where you actually have so many viewers, once you get to like Imperial House status, then you are sorted because those people actually
We'll just watch because, yeah.
Watch because it's you.
Because it's you, yeah.
But then there's a difference between that and other pro players who don't have 10k viewers a stream. And if you look back in time, you look at streamers like Shroud, who were like legends in the pro scene during his time, and now he still gets like plenty of viewers on his streams, and he streams variety. Like, he's not playing the same game every day.
Yeah.
But he gets paid to play a bunch of different games, so he's making bank. He's still got his viewers who are like loyal to him. But like, his content isn't anything. You don't really see his clips anywhere. That's
No,
the thing.
you don't.
His
Yeah.
community is just loyal. That's it.
Yeah, they are. You almost have to look at it as casting a wide net. You might get seen by 100 unique people a day, and only 5 of them like you, but those 5 will become regulars, and the process repeat itself. And so you've got a fair bit of dedicated viewers that like you for you. Yeah, exactly. Because you get people that recommend you to their friends. If you have 1 or 2 people come in, they might know 2 or 3 people that then tell 2 or 3 people, and then it's just constantly like a repeating cycle of, oh, okay, this person, oh, I like this person, that sort of thing. His Watson is a good pro / content creator. Yeah, he is. Because his whole story was, which is why he like got big in Apex, was like the villain, weren't he? He was like #1 pred, and he was going against Hal, and he just kept, it was like him versus Hal, and that was the whole like,
Yeah.
the whole story behind how he sort of not got big, but like got recognized, basically.
They all have a story. That's the thing. That's the common theme between them.
Yeah,
I'll always say this. There's a storyline behind it.
there is. Yeah, that Mandy sniper only challenge. Yeah, that's that. But that's a good case of like a pro actually using not using their brain, but using something, using the game in their advantage to do like a challenge that's, for instance, Timmy as well does the like rookie to pred in one stream, stuff like that. Like, he knows he's good at the game, and he knows people are going to watch that, so he just, it's just
And
like
it's
it's an easy way to do it. And then people get involved, like other streamers, like, oh my god, you see what Timmy's doing, and then it's just like a revolving cycle of people like, oh my god, like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is mental.
Yeah.
Like sniper, I need to pred.
Storyline that makes a headline that Jake Lucky's gonna post on Twitter.
Yeah,
and
yeah. Pretty
So
much. Yeah,
that's kind of what.
that's the goal nowadays.
Yeah, that is the goal basically. Is to get press news out there.
Yeah. Yeah, about someone doing something. Like, the amount of times you see them tweet about like an IRL streamer doing something, like there's like a they'll do something on stream that not they like that bad, but like they'll have like a fail or something, and then someone will be like, oh my god, this person did this like on stream, and then you just watch it, like, oh, what the fuck, and then everyone goes and checks them out. Obviously you get the flip side of that. I think someone came out recently and got found out for like faking it. So like they were, I can't remember what they were doing. I think it was them getting like attacked or something, or like their camera stolen or something like that. But it turned out it was fake, and they actually like paid the person, or the person was their friend and just pretended that they were gonna steal their stuff pretty much. But I think there is a line with that as well, like just for content. Like people that do absolutely fuck shit. Like I saw some video of this guy going around fucking America just like RKOing people, and I'm like he's like RKOing people in like crutches and stuff, and I'm like, what? Why are you doing that? And there's like, oh, for content. Like I don't know.
This is the thing. Your content needs to have purpose, though, because why are you trying to go viral? If you're trying to go viral for money, you're not going to get any sponsors for doing shit. No,
exactly.
There's no reason to do that. You've just blacklisted yourself from a whole bunch of different brands.
Exactly.
You've lost yourself money.
Yeah, from the very start as well.
Exactly.
The Sidemen disses, yeah. Big on Crim.
So I was just going to say, like, surely you might get some new viewers that come in and will donate to you there and then. But as soon as that dies down, you've gotten yourself blacklisted and your content's dead.
Yeah. Especially getting people that are just there because there's a hype around you.
Ready for the next one?
Yeah, go on. Where's the next one? Yeah, go on.
No, I'm going to skip a few because there's still loads.
Yeah, go for it.
What is consistency to you?
What is consistency? Should you be consistent? Honestly, I feel like streaming, when you get into it and you actually enjoy it, it is like a full-time job. Like, it isn't just like, I hit live, I end stream, that's it, okay, I'm done now. I'm never going to think about anything I'm ever going to do until I go live again tomorrow. Like, you actually have to think about everything that you're doing. Like, whether that's, you know, networking with other streamers, like posting on TikTok or YouTube or whatever, or thinking about what your next stream's going to be about, or thinking how you can plan like a series for what you're doing, or that sort of thing. That's why I wanted to do the MNK thing, because I thought, you know, going from controller to MNK isn't common. It's something you can post on like YouTube as long form content. You can make something out of it. People are like interested in how you're getting on. It's just something's changing in your stream. Like, it's not just like you get on, okay, I want to watch this person play controller for like 6 hours, get off, do the exact same thing the next day. Like, it's something completely left of what you've been doing. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, if I put it this way, if it's just streaming, like if it's literally just going live and then turning it off again, what would consistency be in your eyes? Consistency
in what? Like when you go live and then don't go live. Well, I mean, don't go live and then end stream. Well, consistency is probably actually having a schedule, going back to that, like having set days when you know you're going to be live. You know, people will know you're going to be live. Setting up a Discord, that's another thing. There's a massive thing at the start, because that's just like a hub of where everyone you know will be able to see. It's like your community away from being online, because obviously people can talk in there. People might talk just in general, like just because they know someone in your stream, and then meet people through them, and then they can build friendships and stuff like that. So that also links into consistency, because then they know that you're going to be live. They know that this person might be in their stream as well, so then you can talk to them. But yeah, consistency is hard, obviously, because like people have life stuff to do and whatnot.
What do you think about? So a lot of what streamers will say is like their advice for smaller streamers is usually just stream constantly, stream all the time, don't stop streaming. What do you think about that advice?
Yeah, it's like, I would say no personally, just because you could literally be live like every day, 12 hours, 16 hours or whatever, every single day. Eventually that's going to catch up to you, for one, and two, you're not really going to grow that much if you're just streaming, because you know, you're on the camera the whole time. Like you're not doing anything else. So it's hard to sort of like branch out from what you're doing. Like obviously it's like someone following you around with a camera for like 12 to 16 hours a day, like just doing your normal life. Like eventually you're going to get a bit sick of it, and like you don't want people on stream. Like when I did my subathon, like when I got off of it, I was like so grateful that I wasn't on the camera anymore. Like just so
Yeah.
I wasn't felt like I was being watched all the time.
I think people don't realize just how draining streaming can be.
Yeah, it is. It's tiring. Streaming is very tiring. As much as it's like, yeah, go on.
I think that that's probably like the worst advice people can give you. When big streamers give that as advice, I genuinely think that's like some of the most naive advice they can give. Which I suppose a lot of people could say like that's kind of rich considering that they're a big streamer and they've obviously made it there by following their own advice. But things are different. The streaming space is so oversaturated. No one's ever going to find you on Twitch.
Yeah,
like,
just solely, yeah.
Just because you've been streaming 24 hours a day. That's not how that works anymore.
No, it isn't. It isn't. Like you don't need to like you don't need to burn yourself out just because you think someone's gonna come into your stream, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you think someone's gonna raid you, or you think that, you know, you're gonna get more viewers because you're live all the time, because there's so many people on and so many people doing different things that, like, if someone's doing a 3-hour stream and then another streamer goes live for 6 hours, that's 9 hours where they're not watching you, and then another stream, and then another stream, and another stream. Like, it isn't just because, oh, this person's been live for 24 hours, I'm gonna, like, they must be cool or funny or whatever. Like, it just isn't that way, and you'll just end up just burning yourself into the ground and then giving up.
Yeah, you do.
But I think people think that is the way to start growing, is that you just stream constantly and you just stream every day, every single, yeah, you just keep streaming constantly, like go. I need to stream. Like I can't have a day off. Like, it just doesn't work that way.
It works complete opposite. If anything, if you burn yourself out streaming, you either go like one of two ways. Either your streams end up being shit because you have zero energy left to entertain people or talk to people or do anything like content-wise at all. Or the second way is that you just give up completely because it's taken so much from you that you don't even enjoy it anymore.
Yeah, and then, yeah, exactly that as well, because then you start checking your analytics and you're like, oh, okay, I only had like this amount of people in my stream. Oh, why? I streamed for like 18 hours. Like, why the hell did I not, why did no one come to my stream? Like, you then just start looking at the numbers and you think, oh, is this really worth it? Like, I'm going live for this amount of time every single day. I'm not seeing any growth. Like, I'm just sitting on the same amount of numbers as I was like a couple months ago or whatever. Like, what am I really doing this for? And then it just gets in your head, and then that's it. It's just like, it just takes over, and you just can't stop like bad thinking about it, basically.
Yeah, everyone's got like a different sort of mental threshold when it comes to streaming, and it's so, I find it so backwards when people say that if you can't grind streaming, then you don't have the mental strength to do what it takes to be a big streamer.
Yeah,
I find that so backwards.
No, that is backwards.
Streamer doesn't mean being able to stream 12 hours a day.
No,
every day.
It literally doesn't. No,
being a big streamer just means you're able to entertain the people who are watching you.
Yeah, exactly. And you actually generally want to interact with the people that watch you.
Exactly.
Not just, oh, I've grinded for this amount of time.
But there's so much of that advice that goes out there from big streamers, and it genuinely, like,
yeah, sometimes
makes me wonder how, if they had to start again from zero, would they still be able to make it?
I don't think they would. It's easy to talk from like a position where you're like higher up or you have a X amount of people watching you than it is talking to someone that has like, you know, starting off, because not everyone has the same like experiences. Like, everyone's different.
Yeah.
Every streamer that's blown up or gone viral has something completely different about them. Otherwise they wouldn't blow up. Like, it just wouldn't work. Crib, I got a question for you. What's the best way, in your opinion, to network?
See, this one is bad for me because I'm not a good networker.
No?
I'm a really, really bad networker.
I feel like you're pretty decent though, no?
It's because I don't give a fuck about it, really. If you put a lot of pressure on networking, then you kind of put a lot of pressure on having to approach people and having to be in other people's spaces that you don't necessarily want to be in. But because I don't really give a fuck about like whether or not people like my personality or people want to hang out with me, So there's no reason for me to network with people that I don't give a fuck about either,
True.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you're streaming, you kind of have it in your head that you need to be in this person's circle. You need to get close to these people, because their viewers are gonna love your stream or some shit like that. And at that point, that's when you fucked up.
Yeah,
That's when
100%.
you're not genuine.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was gonna say. That's the whole genuine thing. Like, if you're just going into someone's stream to be like, oh, I want to go in there and just, you know, get my name out there that I stream, or I want to get in, like, it's just not gonna work. You have to actually just have a genuine interest in the person, and then people around you will like talk to you pretty much.
I would say probably the best way to network is to not make it your entire life.
No, yeah, no, you can't. You can't just make
need
it all
to
about you. Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. You need to have things outside of streaming. You need to have like hobbies outside of Twitch, and you need to have games that you like to watch outside of the games that you like to play, sort of thing.
Yeah.
If you have that on the side, then it's not going to be your full focus to constantly be networking, to constantly be making content, to constantly be streaming, sort of thing. And then because there's less pressure, you can network naturally because you're able to talk about things that you're interested in and make friends or make connections with people who are interested in similar things without having that forceful connection.
Yeah, like you're just genuinely not giving a fuck about what they're saying or whatever. Like you actually have the same interest, whether that's just the game or like even like banter. Like, you know, people that are UK streamers, you can like get, like, for me personally, I can get along with them because I know that they're like they grew up in the same sort of environments. You know what I mean? So you have that initial banter of, oh, okay, they know about this thing, or they know about, you know, the in-betweeners, for example. Like that's a good example because everyone sort of knows about it. Like you have that initial, like, oh, okay, they find it funny, I find it funny. Like we have that, you know, we're both British. It's just easy to get on. Like,
if your community was somebody else's community and they were like, if they weren't the sorts of same, if they didn't have that same sort of British background and British culture, I'm wording this terribly, but you're kind of understanding where I'm going.
No, yeah, I get what you're saying. You just have the same sort of common interest. That's the word.
Yeah, they would basically hate
or understanding. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It would be like, why the fuck are these people coming at me like this? Why the fuck are they bullying me constantly?
Tea and crumpets, yeah.
Everything that I'm doing.
Yeah, literally, tea and crumpets, beans on toast. But that with that as well, right? That's like a common thing that British people do. And Tuesday as well, that's another thing that everyone takes the piss out of British people. Like, oh, this person's British, they must say Tuesday. Or they must love beans on toast. Or, you know, they must drink tea and eat crumpets. Like, it's just, you know, that's where you get off on that, like, connection with them, I guess. Because you can sort of just take it lightheartedly.
It is, the thing is, though, something that you've done really, really well, actually, is being able to have a community that isn't just all like the same culture, same background, same interests. You actually have a pretty varied community where people have a few similar interests, but a lot of people actually come from a lot of different backgrounds and have different opinions on things. And it's one of those things that a lot of people struggle to build in their own communities, is having people who are different to them.
Yeah. They're not just all the same sort of like set of people, basically.
Yeah. And I think that comes from actually having a life outside of streaming and having an experience outside of streaming.
Definitely.
And outside of gaming. And bringing that
to stream.
into your streams.
Yeah. Definitely. Because you can talk about stories and like things that people would understand, or like, oh, did you see this in like the news, or like, did you see this thing? And then people can go, oh yeah, I remember seeing that. And then you have that sort of thing. I think you're a very entertaining streamer. I'm very good at interactive chat. Humor and shooting the shit is just a huge plus. Yeah, I mean, that's for me, like, as well. I knew that when I first started streaming, I used to think, like, I have to be good at Apex. I have to be good at this game. So then I'll, you know, you'll start getting people coming in. And then the more you do it, the more I realize, I'm not that great at Apex. I'm decent. I know I'm good. Like, I'm not amazing, but I know I'm good. Then you have to actually start using your personality to, like, help with the game. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and you're not that great. Yeah, now you're just digging at me, mate. That's just, you know, that's just horrible. You didn't have to say that. You could have just left that to the side.
It takes you time to realize that, though.
Yeah, it does take you time. Yeah, it does.
Realize what people actually want to watch you for.
It does,
a lot of the time, if you're streaming games like Apex, people don't usually just watch you because you're good at the game.
No, yeah, exactly.
That's usually just
exactly. Because how many times did anyone here, and I know I'm one of the people, you just go in someone's stream, you don't talk, and you just watch. Like how? Like I watch him quite a bit, but I don't talk in his chat. Like I've talked, maybe said like 5 messages in his chat, but I just sit there and watch, because you watch the person, you like watch the game, like you know they're really good at the game, and you just watch what they do. It's sort of like a what's the word? Like you can learn off them, like what they're doing and stuff like that.
Yeah, it brings you value basically. If you're watching something and you don't feel the need to chat, it's because their content is bringing you some sort of value.
Yeah.
Whether it be entertainment or you're learning from it.
Exactly. Like you never know who is in your stream at a certain time until they actually say, hi, I'm here, or they interact. Then you're like, okay, then no. Unless you're like literally clicking your viewership every like 5 minutes, you'll never know. But that's another thing. Don't do that, because having like your numbers up when you first start is the worst thing you can ever do. I turned my numbers off like ages ago. I don't know how many people are live. I don't like even knowing how many people are live watching me. It's just easier to just not know until you get off stream and go, okay, that many people watch this, or this amount of views. Oh, that's quite cool. Like if you watch, it's just a number going up and down. So you're always going to be disappointed because it's not the number you think it's going to be or you want it to be.
Yeah. It's such a pedestal on the number.
Yeah.
And it's not until you actually start hovering around that like double or triple the amount of viewers that you were averaging at for a while is when you realize there really isn't much of a difference between the number that you were at and the number that you're at now. Like, for example, if you were stuck around 10 views for a while, suddenly a few weeks later you're on 30, 40, which isn't real. It's not the most realistic example, but
yeah,
I'm just saying, like, the moment that you hit that point, you realize there is absolutely no difference between streaming at this point and streaming at that point.
No, yeah, there really isn't, especially for growth as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
Like, it's just,
I reckon the only time that you actually see a difference is when you start hitting like partner territory. You get yourself a badge, and at the same time the badge does nothing.
No, yeah, the badge doesn't mean anything as well. Yeah,
it does nothing. The only thing that really matters is like what your goals are. If your goal is to make money from Twitch, then you want to prioritize making more subs. How do you make more subs? Is by having more community members who are loyal and actually want to sub to your content. And the only way to do that is to continue streaming what those viewers enjoy.
Yeah.
It might not necessarily be what you enjoy streaming. If you're doing it for the money, then you have to kind of cater to what your subs want.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing as well. Like, it depends what you do streaming for, but that's like a whole nother topic about money and whether you actually want to get like make something out of it. The badge gives you ego. It does give some people an ego. I'm not gonna lie. It definitely does give some people egos. They think because they've got a tick next to their name that they're like the shit, basically.
It means fuck all.
Yeah, it doesn't. The only time it ever matters is when you're in a stream and someone talks and they have it next to them, because you're like, oh, okay, this person's got a tick. Like, what do they stream? And then you click on their thing and then you're like, oh, okay, they stream this game or they stream that game. But you don't really get a lot of benefits from it, to be honest. Yeah, it's just it, but it shouldn't be like taken down as a bad like thing to get as well. By the way, as in like if you get it, you shouldn't be like, I got a partner. Like it is a massive achievement to get that. It just doesn't mean that much, like in terms of like.
I think a lot of people believe it's the end goal in streaming is like. To get
that isn't. Yeah, you haven't.
The majority of people who get partner fall off straight away.
Yeah, because they don't have the same passion as what they do when they were grinding for partner.
Exactly.
Oh, actually, we could do that one, the equipment one.
So you already did equipment. Oh, go on then. Tell them.
No, like about saying, like, do you need a very good equipment from the start, basically?
Oh, go on then.
That could be a quick one, actually. No, you don't need like the best equipment when you first start streaming. Like, it's good to obviously have a solid. It's good to have like some form of like solid equipment, as in something that actually works and is good and is not just, you know, like a crappy mic or like a crappy camera. But you don't need to go out and buy like the best camera and the best fucking mic and you just don't need to do that, because you might do it for like 6 months and then not want to do it anymore, and then you've just got like a $2,000 camera and a fucking, you know, $3,000 PC and whatnot, and like you just like, okay, well now what do I do with this? And then you end up wanting to sell it, or like you go up selling it. for instance, Jinxie. Jinxie is a console streamer, and he's like fucking massive now. Like, he's just blown up, and he streams on console, and has like not the best mic and not the best camera, but he's just funny. I'm not gonna lie, it's nice when you get better equipment. It's just not like, you know, you don't need to think, right, okay, I'm gonna start streaming. I need to go and buy 3 monitors. I need to buy a desk. I need to buy a light. I need to buy a camera. I need to buy a good mic, keyboard, mouse. You eventually just get these things over time. You can't just instantly just splash out all that money. Obviously, if you have the money, then, you know, and you want to do it, then, you know, feel free. But I just don't know if that is like the best way to go about it, to be honest, because some people are just, they do it and then they give it up. They're like, oh, this is not for me, sort of thing.
It feels really, really weird when you first get into it, and then you do like get used to that feeling, and you kind of lean into it, and you become more confident with it. But then you come to a certain point where you're like, okay, do I actually enjoy this feeling of being drained every time I stream? If you're that type of person who does just get drained whenever you stream, then you're not going to enjoy it.
No, you're not.
That was me every stream. I would stream for 3 hours and I would be dead after 3 hours, and I just couldn't do any more. Like, my social battery would just be out. I really like Meek's question.
What did Meek say?
He said how to keep yapping when no one's chatting.
Yeah, that's a hard one, I'm not gonna lie.
I have a good one for this one, I think.
Go on.
So with streaming, a lot of it is like commentary, but obviously commentary can feel really, really awkward when you know that no one's there.
Yeah.
But the way I see it is that when you're making content, you kind of have to think, those big streamers who have people yapping in their chat and just spamming emotes, they don't actually have anyone saying anything of value in their chat. So when they're streaming, they just commentate what's happening. They react to what's happening in front of them. Their content isn't based off of what people are saying in their chat. And that's kind of like the only way to keep yapping, is to make sure that you're commentating on what's happening, and you're creating your own content outside of just chatting with people who are in your chat.
Yeah. Like what Clip was saying, you need to sort of explain what you're doing in the game. You sort of have to talk. If you've got low viewership and like no one's there, you still have to talk, because some people might just be watching you and think like, if you're not talking, that's the worst thing you can do as well, is just not talk. If you don't talk, no one's ever gonna watch you, because like, what are you bringing to them? You're just sitting there playing a game, not talking. Like, I know it is very hard though, like, especially when you look over your chat and it hasn't moved for like 20 to 30 minutes. You're a bit like, That's why playing with people is a good thing as well, because you have that initial convo. It's just that people are watching you that aren't in that circle of you playing. So then if they like the banter between you two, or they like your group that you're playing with, then they're going to want to talk, because they're like, oh, okay, that was quite funny, or whatever. Whereas if it's like, it's hard when you're just doing a single player game, or you're just by yourself, because it's just you, the game, and then people watching you. You
kind of have to convince yourself that there's people watching.
Yeah, you do, 100%.
You just need to, I say just, did you see what Hassan said about streaming being harder than a 9 to 5?
Yeah, I think that got taken out of proportion though. Like, I got taken out of context. I don't think he fully meant it like that. Like, no.
Yeah.
He
definitely said something along those lines, but not.
Yeah.
With streaming, there is so many obstacles, like mentally and physically, that you need to jump over, and that's kind of one of them, is being able to convince yourself that there are people watching you.
Yeah.
Being able to not fall into the trap of feeling insecure because people aren't chatting as much as you'd like to, or your numbers aren't where they need to be, and getting over that hurdle of so many like mental.
It's like mental barriers, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Those mental barriers will 100% hold you back from being able to produce content.
That's what also like makes people stop streaming though. The mental side of it. It's always the mental side of why someone stops streaming. It's not that they fall out of love of a game. It's not that they, they're not. Sometimes like they're not sure where to go with their content or whatever. But most of the time, it is all in your head. Like, I haven't got this number. I haven't really hit partner yet. I haven't got this amount of people watching me. I haven't got this amount of subs. I haven't got this. I haven't got that. And then it all just goes over and you think, oh, it's easy to just stop it and just do anything else rather than that. Then again, he didn't specify what type of 9 to 5 because that take is still insane to me. I mean, like, I think he did get taken out of context, that whole like thing, because he is right. Some like streaming is harder than some like jobs, like some 9 to 5s. But it depends what you take out of that 9 to 5. Like if you're like a high up manager in a bank or whatever, then yeah, that is 100% harder than streaming, because you're going in, like, you have so much to deal with every single day. Like even outside of work, you're still thinking about work. But if you're just doing a 9 to 5 and it's like something, you know, you don't really care about, you know, it's just something to pay the bills or whatever, then yeah, probably not, because you go in, okay, it's shit, but you get on with it and then you go home and then you don't think about it till the next day and then you enjoy your weekend or your days off. Whereas streaming is constant. Like you just don't stop thinking about it. Me personally, anyway, I don't ever stop thinking about it. Whenever I'm on stream, off stream, I'm always thinking of something I need to do or something I should be doing or something I should be recording or some idea I should be thinking of. But I think that did get taken a lot out of proportion. I'm not gonna lie.
It did, but it's just one of those things that really does need context beside it.
Yeah.
The moment it's taken out of context, it makes no sense.
But
because you can't just say streaming is hard.
Yeah, yeah, because it's not.
How many 9 to 5s are there?
Yeah, because it's not.
If
Yeah.
you haven't specified which 9 to 5, then
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But I think the general point is just that streaming is actually a lot harder than people realize.
Yeah. And I don't think you ever realize that until you do it.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Streaming caused me more anxiety than any other
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 to 5 is a lot more guaranteed.
Yeah, 100%.
You have your pay guaranteed. Well, I mean, I take it with a grain of salt, because every circumstance is going to be different. But generally, with a 9 to 5, your pay is guaranteed. Your hours are guaranteed. You kind of know what you're going to be expecting the next day. When it comes to streaming, nothing is guaranteed.
No, nothing. Yeah. That's the thing with streaming. It could all change overnight. You don't know. You just have to basically put yourself out there enough for something to happen, like outside of what you do, pretty much. As in, like, whether that's working with a brand or like blowing up off a video or blowing up off like getting a sponsorship or whatever it is. Like, you have to just keep pushing yourself forward into things until eventually something just goes bang. Not I've made it, but like, okay, I can see where I'm going with this now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Now that I've tried both, I would definitely pick my current job over going back to streaming.
Yeah. And like, you just get more enjoyment out of it. Yeah.
It's not everyone, but I'm glad that I tried it anyway, and
it's a good experience to try. Yeah. Some people just don't like, they just can't keep up with streaming. It's the consistency of doing it yourself, like going live and playing a game or like just chatting or whatever it is. It's the consistency of constantly doing something without seeing much reward. Mm-hmm. Like, to be completely honest, or little reward.
I don't think you can make it your number one goal.
You can't.
If you're a full-time streamer and you haven't reached the point of stability yet, then it cannot be your number one goal, because you will think of it endlessly and it will be the only thing that's on your mind. And when that happens, you've basically cut off every other avenue. Yeah.
And it will just eat you up, because it will just overcome you. Like, it's just too hard. Especially when
secondary to something else.
Yeah. I remember when I had one good month and loads of people were like, quit job. Yeah, exactly. It's so inconsistent. I've got 2 questions, Krim. When did you decide to go for it, Waldy? Honestly, I mean, I'm not full-time. I would love to be full-time. I'm not going to lie. Like, yeah, I think it was when I started seeing some form of growth. Like, I used to stream like not last year, the year before that, for like a couple months when I was actually in like full-time work. I used to stream like 6 o'clock onwards, and I used to get like 5 to 6 people like in my stream, like on average. I used to check my numbers. And then when I moved out, I changed my schedule to like 6 hours back. So I used to start at 12 or like 12:01 and then end about 6-7, which is on now. And then I realized that my numbers are growing by doing that, because most of the people that watch me were EU or like Oz. Like, for instance, when I first met Schmidt, Like, I didn't know him. I met him through Piku, and then I started getting to know him. I didn't even realize he streamed, and then I started talking to him like outside of stream. Then I realized he streamed and started talking to him there, and then I met loads of people through him as well. Like, tons of people. Same way as he's met people through me. Like, it's just one of them things when you like click with someone, it's just easy to meet people through them because they have the same sort of like banter level with you, and they have the same sort of like common interests and stuff.
It doesn't even have to be at a point where you're completely stable income wise. It can just be a point where you know that this is something that you actually have a real chance at.
Yeah, you know you have something.
Time for you to do it.
Yeah,
and you can stay on your feet whether or not it works out well for you or not.
I think you just need to know your own. How do I say it? Like, you need to know that you bring something. Like, you've got something. Like, you have something to bring to offer to people that they like. I know that sounds so big-headed, but like, it's just you just have to think, not think you're the shit, but like you have to actually think you bring something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly it. If you're gonna get into streaming, you need to have that confidence.
Yeah,
regardless.
yeah. You have to have confidence. Yeah,
get nowhere.
Yeah, 100%.
You need to have that confidence in yourself and your entertainment quality.
Also, Domi said, no way, really, how comes Crimp would choose it? Like, how comes you choose your job over streaming?
That is more of just like how I work personally. I'm the type of person who needs to take quite a lot of focus breaks. I can get quite sidetracked. So if I'm in the middle of something, if I've been doing it for an hour, 2 hours, I will start losing my mind and I'll start hating absolutely everything and start spiraling. So I need to take like a proper break.
Yeah.
And
that's just away from being on a PC. Yeah. That's how I feel off stream. Like if I'm doing some editing, I'm like, my mind cannot focus on one thing. Like, I just get so easy distracted, and then I just have to take myself away from my PC because I'm just like, it's just not working.
People have different levels of battery, and my battery is quite low.
Yeah.
My battery runs out quite quickly. I can put a lot of energy into a small amount of time, but after that time's out, I need to just disappear for a little bit and then come back later. And in the job that I have now, I am able to do that. I can work for a certain amount of time and then walk away and come back to it later.
Just regain your thoughts, yeah.
Exactly.
Schmidt would be a good podcast guest. He's an incredible streamer. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. As much as I give Schmidt shit, he is a very good streamer.
Schmidt is an incredible
streamer. He is very good.
I don't see many streamers.
No, yeah, 100%. He's always thinking of something. Like, I know for a fact, and he knows for it as well. People watch him for what he does and like the banter he brings and like all the stuff he says, like modding and unmodding people for a laugh, like all these things that pop up on his stream, like some of his sound alerts, like just shit like that are just unique to him. So like it works him. Do you know what I mean? But no, he is definitely a good streamer, 100%.
He just naturally has a talent for community management. He knows how to make people in his stream feel like
laugh. Yeah. Which is why we got on so well, because I'm the exact same. And like, even when we plan these tournaments and stuff, we both have the same ideas. We just have to try and think of a way of getting it in and like making it so everyone has fun. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but that's it. Like both you and him are very like community based streamers.
Yeah, 100%.
Both of you understand community management, and that sort of skill really does. It just shows. Like, you go into the stream and you feel like you are already a part of the community.
It makes everyone feel special, every viewer. Yeah. Like, you actually have to genuinely want to talk to this person. Like, whether that's they say, oh, you know, I crashed my car, and then the next day, you're like, oh, yeah, like, or the other day, or like they come back a few weeks later, and you're like, oh, how's things going with your car, or whatever. Even something so small as that, it can just, like, help the streamer and the person, because they're like, oh, they actually care about what I'm saying, not just going hi in the chat and then leaving or whatever.
That's the main skill that goes into community management, is making people feel like they belong.
Yeah, in a community.
Like are understood. And this is why streaming is such a combination of a bunch of different skills. One of them being community, the other one being a skill to entertain, and just having the gift of the gab, almost being able to speak to people.
Yeah,
they are all skills within themselves. And then the whole skill of being able to make content is a completely different area.
Yeah.
It's completely different to just being able to stream and entertain a community. Being able to make content is something that you then need to learn after the fact.
It's just you are 100% right. It is the actual like community based thing and actually getting to know people. But it's hard to do all of this like on top of making content.
But the thing is, even if you I'm not going to say fail at streaming, because there is I don't think that there is such a thing as failing at streaming. You either choose to continue or you choose to stop, or you make it big. And then even then, after you make it big, you can then choose to stop, or your viewers could die down. There's no such thing as failing at streaming.
No, there isn't.
If you choose to stop, you've learned so many skills.
Yeah.
Just from that period of time where you were streaming, and from that you can get into community management jobs, you can get into content creation jobs.
Yeah, exactly, because you have some sort of understanding about how it works.
Exactly.
And how you need to operate things. That's why as well, like we were saying for another thing, but like even like orgs and brands, like the way they approach certain people is just so completely wrong. And they don't understand it because they've never done it, and they would never understand how it is to do that to someone.
Streamers as if they're just like people in front of a computer playing video games, when really streamers are people who have grown their talents to get to where they are. All right. Well,
But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, to be honest.
I think so as well. I had fun doing that, actually.
Yeah, I actually had fun as well. I actually had a good time.
Of course we were gonna. I mean, we already guessed we were gonna waffle anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing it for like what, 2.5 hours. It didn't feel like that. I'm not gonna lie.
We said
It didn't feel like that.
We'd do it for like an hour.
Yeah, we said an hour, 2 hours. Yeah. But this is the thing that me and Crimp are gonna be doing now, because I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if anyone like you lot enjoyed it, but I actually had so much fun doing that. I can't lie.